Hey, so here we go. This is part 3 of on being a servant of God. This is our little hip pocket training, talking about servitude and what that looks like. What title did you get on this? Did you put a title on this?
I did not. So Myung put titles on them all, and I didn't even ask her if I'm allowed to read her titles, but hey, they're good titles. She wrote, "Eyes to see, ears to hear, to help others make disciples."
Oh, that's good. That's really good. I just putting God on display. So this chapter was like super good. Like,
Yeah.
so go ahead. What do you got?
No, you go ahead.
All right. So this one, he opens it up and he's like, he reiterates what he said in the last chapter, where ministry takes place when divine resources meet human needs. So this is all about like, hey, this is like the heart of ministry, right?
Yes.
And like he even says it too, right? Like the heart of the problem is the problem of the heart. Where he says, right? So it's like, this is the heart of ministry, and the ministry is the heart.
Yes.
Ultimately, is what it comes down to, right? So it's an opportunity. He says, in ministry, we're called to live for others. Ministry is not just another way of making a living. It's a wonderful opportunity for making a life that's lived for others. It's an opportunity to be like the Lord Jesus Christ. When he was here on earth, he met human needs, all kinds of needs. Right? So like that is ministry. Like, and it's not like, yes, you can talk about like, oh, well, I serve in this and I do this and like, and that's good. And like, this is the way I've always seen ministry. Like serving at a church is helpful because I'm just going to be 100% honest. People are jacked up, right? Even Christians are jacked up.
Yeah.
And that is okay. Because guess what? As a Christian, when you're saying like, hey, I'm a Christian, the whole world is going to judge you.
Yes.
So being in ministry is helpful because like, guess what? Like you're going to, iron sharpens iron. You're going to be involved with people. And guess what? Like, hey, it's better to be able to.
In a highly judgmental environment.
Yes. But like, think about like raising up our kids,
Yes.
right? Like I'm okay. And I've told my boys like, hey, I'm okay with you guys making mistakes.
Yeah.
I'd rather you guys make mistakes and being honest with me
Yes.
right now than thinking you can't make a mistake. And then you go out into the world, you make big mistakes.
Yes.
And then you still feel like you can't talk to me.
That all the time.
Huh?
I told my boys that all the time.
Yeah. So like, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
So in church, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah. Let's make the mistakes there.
Yeah.
Give grace. And then now we'll push you out into the world because you ain't getting no grace out there.
That's a good point, right? Yeah. That's a good point. So he also gives the characteristics, right? Like, let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit, but in lowliness of mind, let each esteem others better, more important, than himself. Let each of you look out not only for his own interests, but the interests of others. Yeah. Right? Like that's the biggest part of ministry.
Yes.
Let nothing be done through selfish ambition or conceit.
Why are you there? Why are you serving?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty clear. Like, because what did he say? He said there were 3 reasons, right?
Oh, yeah.
We can be blind to them and live our own lives, or we can take advantage of those needs to benefit ourselves, or a third way we can relate to the needs of others is to know about them but do nothing. Like those are all just bad, right?
Yeah.
And they're not living for others, which is what Christ did for us, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
I mean, constantly walking the earth, he lived for others over and over and over again.
That was the whole purpose of his life, right?
Yes.
True servants of God help others, whether they themselves get anything out of it or not. Their concern is only that God be glorified and people trust Christ.
Yeah.
Right? True servants are there to help others, whether they get anything or not out of it. Like, you talk about like leadership books and everything else, right? They always talk about like, oh, it's servant leadership. Right? Servant leadership. That's the way to go. Servant
Yes.
leadership. No, that's fine. How about you put in an application, lead servant, and see how many people are going to sign up for that job? Nobody will. But guess what? That is the position of the leader, right?
Yeah. That is funny. I've never thought of it that way. Lead servant.
No, I'm good. In Christian service, a sensitive spirit and a tender heart are absolutely essential, but we can easily become calloused. Then our work becomes routine and perfunctory, and we say, with the backslidden priests of Malachi's day, oh, what a weariness, right? Hey, we can become callous.
Yeah. When we are not operating in the Lord's power, right?
Yep.
When it becomes so one, it's kind of like a twofold mixture of not operating in the Lord's power and then like selfish reasons for why you're even there in the first place.
Oh yeah, big time.
And you mix those together, and you're like, it goes south quick, right? Because are you acting out of love?
And I'll tell you what, like that is like it's obviously the best part, but that is the worst part of ministry.
What?
You are going to get found out real quick.
Yeah.
Right. Like and here's the thing, forget about like, oh, don't worry, they're going to get, no, it's not even about that. I'm just saying like, you are going to get found out. What you truly desire, like, unfortunately, it is like, it's just, dude, you got to remember, like we've been talking about it in our other episodes, right? Like we are in a war.
Yes.
So the Lord wants to develop you and chisel things out. And guess what? There's an enemy that completely wants to destroy everything. And unfortunately, those two things, like they end up working synonymously.
Yes.
Like the Lord isn't going to protect these deficiencies that you have.
Correct.
The Lord is going to be like, no, you got these deficiencies. The enemy. He said it with Peter. Remember when Jesus was with Peter and he's like, hey, bro, the Lord wants to sift you out like wheat. And so I'm just letting you know. Hey, I'm not going to let him. No. He's like, so guess what, bro? I'm praying for you. And when you fail, guess what? Go ahead, come back and encourage the other ones. He didn't protect him from it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the hard part of ministry. Your insufficiencies that you are trying to mask, they are going to get found out because, like, you've heard me say it before. Like, I heard Chuck Swindoll say it before. Like, if you can do anything else, go and do that. Like, don't.
Yeah, because it's like there's some heavy warnings in the Bible that state like you might want to think about a different profession. Don't be coming up in here. Like the Lord's clear. He's like, don't be coming up in here with your own agenda. And it's crazy because it comes through my YouTube feed all the time. And I'm like, Lord, there's some pretty crazy preachers out there with some crazy bling and some crazy jets and talking some heresies and making mad money. And like when I start to see them, I'm like, I thought you said don't come up in here doing the wrong thing. And he's like, don't worry.
No.
They're gonna get what they deserve, either here or after. Don't worry. And sometimes we see them fall, right? And, and you're like, yeah, that was obvious, bro. Like, like it was pretty clear why you were here and what you were doing. But yeah, that's the thing that scares the mess out of me, dude. I'm like, I don't want any of that fire, right? None of it. But
and you're not gonna hide it. The Lord's not going to.
Right. I think my personal, what I got out of our previous book, The Bait of Satan, is the whole thing of lowering of expectations. Because unfortunately, I think a lot of us go into service to the Lord in a church or ministry with expectations that, oh man, every last one of us locked up in here, we here for the Lord, dog. And it's like, no, the Bible clearly has shown you like that's just not the case. I mean, how many what's his name's priestly sons who were just a hot
dude,
messes,
Eli,
right?
bro.
Yeah, and so
Phineas and Hophni and Phineas, dude.
and so it's just like that's something that I had to learn. It's like oh, like so I came into this with unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you came into it with unrealistic expectations. He's like, are you perfect? And I'm like, no, Lord. He's like, well, then no one else is either.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and it's like you ever like do those rock tumblers, right? Like little science project where
Yes.
they put all those rocks in a tumbler and then they come out and they're all like soft and beautiful. Like that's a church, dude. It's just freaking just chaos, and in there it's like it's all right. Like it's gonna come out. It's gonna smooth itself out. Just stay in there. Just stay in there. Like don't leave. Don't try to jump out and get out. You're all right. Like just stay there. That's it. Yeah. I got this one right.
Yes.
And this one's huge because ministry here's the hard part and the frustrating part of ministry. You're trying to help people out and it's like, dude, why aren't you getting it? He says this. He says the greatest need is to be rightly related to God and his will. That doesn't mean the word of God and prayer will pay their bills or feed their stomachs. We don't quote a Bible verse, promise to hungry people, pray for them, smile and say, depart in peace, be warmed and filled. That's out of James. He says, we do what we can to put food on the table. And here's the part, right? But unless we help people grow into a right relationship with God, whatever help we give them will only be a stopgap measure, a quick fix until the next time they have a need. And then the cycle is repeated.
And I wrote, you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. You teach a man the fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Yeah. That's exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah. Here's the thing. There is nothing wrong with measuring, because it says measure, right? There's nothing wrong with like helping people and say like, look,
yes,
we need to see progress.
Right.
We need to see. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong.
Like we're attempting to meet your immediate need right now of food, shelter, whatever it may be, with the understanding that these things are being provided by the Lord. Our love for you right now is from the Lord, and it's not about the stuff and the things, but it's about us showing you the Lord.
Yeah.
And we are hoping for growth.
Yep.
And it might just be the basic thing of we're hoping for salvation for you. First and foremost.
Absolutely.
And then, but if they're already saved, then now we're hoping for growth.
Yeah, and it doesn't even just and it is, physical needs, absolutely, but it can also translate like, dude, counseling people.
Yeah.
Like, there's been plenty of times that I counsel. It's like, bro, like you are still in this state. Like we have got to get you out of this rut because you just keep on coming back to it. Right. And if you're gonna keep coming back to it, like just because you get to talk to me for free, like now you're taking just advantage of it, and you want to stay stuck in your yuck. Like, no,
because I think Jack had stated one time in the counseling section of school ministry, he was like, so we'll get to a point and it's like, y'all have to overcome this thing.
Yeah.
And then he goes, if they come back and he's like, okay, did y'all accomplish this? And they're like, no. He's like, then that's it. Go accomplish that. Once that is accomplished, then we can continue to move forward.
Yep. Because I can't want it more than you want it.
No.
I can't want it more for you than you want it for yourself.
Absolutely not.
But only true Christian ministry can put grace in the heart so that lives are changed and problems are really solved. Yes. The best thing we can do for people is not to solve their problems for them, but to relate them to God's grace that they will be enabled to solve their problems and not repeat them. I heard a question one time where they're like, is this love? You remember Tom's shoes? Forgot, or was it Tom's Tomorrow's? I forgot what it was, right? But it's like, if you buy a pair, they give you a pair. Okay. Right. And so,
Tom's, they give a pair to needy people, I believe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So they were talking about like, that's a good, like that is like, hey, you know what, that's a good effort. Mm-hmm. But is that really most loving? Especially like when you're going into these other countries and you're taking in shoes, right? Like And you think, like, I heard that question posed, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good effort. And it's like, that's not the most loving thing that you can do. It's like, but they need shoes. It's like, no. Because guess what? There's a shoemaker or somebody that's providing shoes there. Like somebody was making shoes before for those people. And now you bring in these shoes. What is that doing? Like now that's messing up their economy, right? That's, you know what I mean? Now you're taking a job away from, I didn't think about that either. And he's like, honestly, the best thing that you can do is like, hey, you know what? How about we give you better material? Or how about we show you a different way? Or how about we like get a machine in there so that way you can do it, so that way you can have this and then maybe go, it's like, oh yeah. Sometimes when we want to help people, it's not the most loving thing that we can do.
Yeah, because that's like the programs. They have new programs now in Africa where they're teaching them how to be abundant agriculturally in the environment in which they live in. Yeah. That's teaching a man to fish, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to say. That it goes hand in hand with what you were saying.
Very much so. Yeah, like I wrote down knowing needs but doing nothing. Are you calloused? Has this become routine? Ask God daily. This one we didn't cover. It says in there, ask God daily what he wants you to do. Poof.
Because sometimes he doesn't want you to do anything. And I'll tell you what, sometimes you become somebody's easy button and the Lord's like, stop it.
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to do a work in their life and you going in there is stopping what I'm trying to do because you are now pacifying them.
Yeah. I was getting ready to say you're their nook.
Yeah. That's funny, dude. That's funny.
The fact that we think the same way is terrifying.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah. Because that's how I am with my children, right? So, like, Mi Young is so loving and so caring. And it's been such a long time between Matthew and Grace. So like, she's just like on her and dote. And I'm like, I'm like, stop that. I'm like, she can do that. She can take that. And now she's very accommodating with it. But early on, she was not having it, you know?
Well, and that's the thing, right? Like that's like a mother is prone to nurture in that way, right? Like that is just not, hey, that's why God has put, you know, hey, in God's eyes, it should be man and woman, right?
Yeah,
because
100.
you it's important to have both.
Yeah.
Because if it was just on one side too, like there'd just be like no love.
Like I mean, you need your wife.
I know that, dude.
Points, Deanna.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
I will be the first one to say, trust me, I know.
I need mine also.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. It's that nature and nurture and teaching, instruction, boundaries. It's all of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. He says, he closes this up. The human needs in our world today are indescribable, innumerable, and if you have a tender heart, almost unbearable. You and I can't do everything, but we can do something, and that something is the ministry God has called us to fulfill.
Yeah. Again, we say it over and over and over again. Submit your will to the Lord and serve. Like, I understand. I was terrified to submit my will to the Lord. Terrified. Because I felt like I had already done it early in my Christian faith. And I did in a sense, but I was ill prepared based upon the fact that I was basing everything on my works and so on and so forth. So I had a false theology going on. And so therefore I got torched.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And my fear of getting torched again kept me, I'm like, sidelines feel pretty good to me. Until the Lord introduced me to my buddy Bobby. Yeah,
there's a spectator Christianity does not exist.
No, it's not. Yeah, that's like head in the sand Christianity, right?
Yeah.
You just, the war's going on, and
That's what football's for, so you can go watch it.
yeah, no doubt.
But you
But
can't-
yeah, so please, please, please pray, ask the Lord to quell your fear, and just take that first step of faith and submit your will to Him. And I promise you, you will be blessed by what comes back and how He uses you in His service.
That's good. Hey, thanks for tuning in. And hey, get the book. It's On Being a Servant of God from Warren Wiersbe. Follow along. Let us know what stands out. Hey, what titles did you give these chapters? Because he didn't title any of the chapters, so it's kind of like whatever it is. So, hey, let us know what you decided to title it. That being said, God bless you. We'll see you next time.
Be blessed.